Welcome to the Cycle Coach Show.
Empowering conversations on menstrual cycle coaching.
We're your hosts, Claire Baker
and Lauren Olivia Hughes.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in. This is Claire. I am excited to introduce our first ever guest episode. We have Lucia Mazzella and Mariah Barrett on the show today, both of whom work with women in the realms of nutrition, home cooking, and body literacy, and they really support women to nurture healthy hormones and menstrual cycles through cooking and eating great food. Both of them are certified menstrual cycle coaches. They have an array of certifications and experience and so much wisdom to share. Now, you might know Lucia from her Instagram account at Ambrosia's Table, and you might know Mariah from her account at Nourish Your Cycle. Here is where they currently have 37,000 and 84,000 followers, respectively. Now, what you might find interesting is that when I first met these two back in 2019, they were mentoring clients of mine, and neither had a big following on social media at all. They were actually both in the very early stages of setting up their online businesses. I remember working with them both and thinking, these girls are going to be big. They have so much to offer. And lo and behold, tens of thousands of followers and a huge community and flourishing businesses later, here we are. So they both took Cycle Coach in 2020, and I still remember the moment I paired them together as listening partners, even though they were on opposite sides of the world from each other. Lucia is in Tasmania in Australia, and Mariah is in the States. I just had such a gut instinct that they would be great supports for each other. And now in this episode, you get to hear just how supportive their friendship really has been as they've both rapidly grown their businesses. They've continued to study and learn together and really ridden the highs and lows of what it actually means to go viral on social media. So I think you're going to really appreciate how honest they both are about experiencing comparison in their friendship and how they approach that authentically rather than just pretending that it doesn't happen. This is a really real conversation between great friends who, at the time of recording this, had actually only just recently met for the first time in person. When I saw that they were going to be in Italy on holiday together, I just knew we had to have this chat. So Lauren takes the reins in this episode as host, and the three of them really model the importance of building relationships in this industry, personally and professionally. I have personally learned so much from both of these women over the years, and they've inspired my home cooking immensely. I think of them every time I make my weekly bone broth or manage my 30 grams of protein at breakfast, and I really admire the way they focus on eating real, delicious food and encouraging simple hormone health strategies like getting sunlight in the morning or enough sleep at night, rather than zoning in on expensive supplements or current trends. So if you don't follow them already, I think you're going to love their work, and you'll be able to find links to their accounts in the show notes. This is a chat between adults, so there are a few adult words here and there. So do be mindful if you have little people around. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Cycle Coach Show, where we have empowering conversations with fellow menstrual cycle coaches. I am your co-host, Lauren, and I'm flying solo today because I get to have a very exciting chat with two of my peers from the 2020 year of Cycle Coach School. They are heavy hitters in the hormonal nutrition realm and have exploded across social media. They're currently on a co-holiday in Italy together because they're finally meeting in real life. I'm absolutely excited, and it's my honor and pleasure and everything else to introduce Mariah and Lucia. Welcome.
Thanks, love.
Thanks for having us. It's so nice to be all together, all three of us.
So
No.
throwback.
You wish you could be here on the other side of the Zoom screen as well.
Oh, in hindsight, should have expensed it.
I know, you're not that far away.
Yeah. I'm so keen to get into your social media strategy and everything, like its impact on your life and your business. But first, I'd like to ask you, what cycle day are you on today?
I'll go first because mine's
You're
obvious.
easy. Okay.
I'm cycle day 2. But yeah, I'm feeling really, really good. No pain or anything. It's always nice, when you're on holiday and you're like, it could go either way. It might be like better than normal because of the lack of stress, or it might be worse than normal because of all the weird like travel and food and all of that. So I'm feeling like that peaceful sort of energy, and yeah, just feeling really like content and like just been laying on a sunbed, that holiday plus period peaceful vibes is where I'm at.
Oh, good.
Oh, lush.
I'm on day 15, so we're like opposite ends of the spectrum, which was funny. We went on a hike yesterday. Lucia was day 2, I was day 14. I was like, could not be more different.
Oh, yeah, so I'm day 3.
Day 3. Oh yeah. But yeah, you got your period at night. So it always feels when you get your period at night, it's like it is day 1 technically, but
day
it
1,
feels like it's not, the next day kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I'm completely with you.
Yeah. Like charting wise, yes, that's day 1, but like experience wise, the next day really feels like day 1. But yeah, day 15, feeling good. Got fertile quality cervical mucus, definitely pulling into ovulation station. And also just like the best to be at this point in my cycle on holiday. I got my period like 5 days before I left for this trip. I'm doing other things on this trip too. I'm gonna be gone for like 3.5 weeks. So literally like I will get my period probably the day or 2 when I get home. So
Perfect.
it's amazing timing.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna plan that better, honestly. I'm cycle day 26, so I feel like I'm like completing the circle.
Yes.
Definitely noticing that like shift of my body into inner winter, but my brain's like sparking because I'm like, I get to talk to you two today. Probably have a nap after, but until then. Let's start at the beginning. You two were assigned as listening partners during the cycle coach training. So what was that first meeting like?
Oh, well, so the truth is, the history is that we knew each other before that, not like obviously that well,
And it was through Claire.
but it was through Claire anyway. So we were both one-on-one clients of Claire's in 2019, I think.
Yeah.
The end of 2019, early 2020. And she was promoting B school, and we both joined B school. And then her and the other woman that she was like,
Vienda Maria. They
Yeah.
did like a joint thing, so we got access to like all of their bonuses when you did B school through them, like a little private podcast on like starting your email list and like doing all of that. So we kind of, I think we probably just followed each other on Instagram and met through that kind of, because there were live calls for that. So we kind of
and
just
a little
knew
like not a Facebook group, but like a little
we
community.
knew who each other was and we connected, but it wasn't until we actually got assigned that we then obviously came on to become like really close friends.
Yeah. And it was funny because when Claire assigned us listening partners, I was like, how is that going to work? Because I'm on the East Coast of the US and you're in Tasmania. It's like a 14-hour time difference. And every single time we talk, we're like, what's your time zone again? Like, we're always like,
We're so dumb.
like the time difference is so extreme that we like can't even remember what it is. Like, and this has been
also because I'm sometimes in West Australia and then you're in different parts. So it's always changing.
Sometimes I'm in London, sometimes I'm traveling. Yeah.
But
and also like daylight savings too. So
time zones break my brain.
Yeah. So I don't really remember our first conversation. I just remember like, we were paired and I was like, oh, cool. Wait, how's that going to work? And then the only thing that I remember where I was, like where I was living, but also I just remember, being really excited that we were paired together because I had already seen, she was already in my sphere a little bit. And
I think our energy really matched, like when even though we're different in a lot of ways, we're also got a lot of similarities. So
Mhm.
from the beginning, we're like, oh yeah, cool. Like we both sort of have a similar approach, similar energy, like pretty silly, pretty like spicy, opinionated, maybe.
Yeah.
And also really like heartfelt and like, you know, just like lovey, good vibe.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also like both
Mhm.
on nutrition, where not, you know, not
Yes.
all cycle coaches are
Have a
interested. And
passion
I
for that.
assume that's part of why we were paired together as well. Who knows? We'd have to ask Claire.
Yeah.
I imagine so. I've done some of the listening partnerships in the last couple of years, and usually it's like age range wise, but also like, would you have interesting conversations? Like, are you in similar realms, or like, do you have a similar experience in business? And so I can imagine you two, just lifestyle wise, even
Mhm.
outside of your business, seem to have like the same trajectory.
Yeah.
So I can imagine there would have been some good conversations from the start.
Oh yeah. And we were really good at keeping up with it. Like we really stuck. I think we talked once a week during,
Yeah.
and it was the first round of Cycle Coach in 2020 was a year. It was a year long. So I genuinely, I mean, I'm sure we like missed a week here or there. But I feel like we really kept in touch.
Yeah.
And then once it ended, we were like, well, we're not going to stop now.
Yeah. Like, I need this.
We're like, I'm lonely.
Yeah. And there's a particular kind of, because obviously your friends in real life get it
Mhm.
to a degree, and you can talk about online business, but there's something so valuable about having a friend who also understands the ups and
Yes.
downs of this
Mhm.
type of business.
Yeah.
Being online, being on the internet, being an entrepreneur, being a woman, being in like the hormone space, like there's, as you know, and as so many of probably the people listening know, like this is, Claire always says, you know, it's so much about personal development
Yeah.
rather than business. So yes, we've been listening buddies, and we sometimes joke that it was like our little mothers group for our business,
Yeah.
like our businesses being our babies, but it's also been like so much of witnessing each other coming up against like so many different fears, and you know, just showing up at time and time again, and then like there's been some really low lows and some really high highs, and often we're at opposite
Yeah.
we're in
That's what I was going to say.
opposite phases of business, and one of us is like, I just want to burn my business to the ground and I want to quit. And the other one's like, I'm loving it. Like, I'm so inspired right now. I'm making heaps of money. And then, you know, like, it's just, we've been through a lot together.
Yeah. And it really has been like, I think, and because we've been like supporting each other for so many years, it was almost like at first it was hard that it felt like we were never at the same point. Like one of us would be killing it, one of us would be struggling, and then it would literally switch. And I remember the first time that happened a few years ago, and then it like switched back where like it was like one of us was struggling, the other was like thriving, and then it kind of felt a little icky, and it was like, oh God, I wish I was where she was, or like I can't relate to where she's now because I'm like so happy and like thriving. And then it flipped, and then that was like, oh, that was interesting. And then it flipped again. And we were like, oh, okay. So this is so interesting how like it's so often like one of us will be, you know, and also it was just so comforting. Cause it's like, oh, this journey is so up and down. And it just is like, I think, but the comfort of knowing, of witnessing someone very intimately go through the ups and downs was so, has been still, is like so comforting, because it makes you feel like it's just, it lessens the blow of all that. And like, even just the emotion.
Personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
spinning,
oh,
when you spin out.
we all experience these kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think like even when we have other friends in the online space, you kind of, there's a false sense of closeness because you're like, oh, I see them and I chat to them and I like their stories and stuff. But unless you're having like an hour-long conversation, really vulnerably hearing what's happening for them in business, you can't know. And maybe you can easily trick yourself into, why am I having a hard time with this? Nobody else is having a hard time with this, or
There's something wrong with me.
Yeah, one
like,
thing.
I'm doing this wrong, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not whatever enough.
Exactly. And we've said like you can't compare where you're at internally to where other people seem to be externally.
Yes.
Those two things are just like so different, and unless you really know where someone's at, yeah, it's just you're not comparing apples with apples.
And we literally popped champagne together, celebrating a launch. We've literally
on Zoom.
we've literally wept both of us multiple times to each other, talked about like, what would it look like if I didn't do this anymore? Talked about, and then other life stuff too, because I think we both are it becomes about obviously not just business. We're just, talking about.
Well, yeah, being an entrepreneur could be like so lonely. It's our dream job to work for ourselves, but then day over day, you end up being by yourself a whole lot. So it's nice to have that community element and to be able to balance each other out over time. It must feel weird when one's high and one's low, but it's almost like you have that energy to like pull the other one up or to like remind them of why you're doing
And
it.
it's not even weird anymore. It's almost like it's a reminder that if you're feeling low, the tides will turn again. Like it's the same with that's like, and it's like menstrual cycle awareness. It's cyclical awareness. It's the cyclical reality of life, not only in our bodies, not only the earth, not only the moon, our businesses too, that it's like this reminder that things are cyclical. And so, and it is funny that we're at literal opposite poles of our cycle right now too, which is funny. Maybe we're just like,
I'll just nap here.
yeah, we just fit well. It fits. And it's like this reminder of like, okay, remember 3 months ago when Lucia was crying to me and I was celebrating, and now I'm crying to her and she's celebrating. In 3 months, it inevitably will shift again,
You become more detached from
the
phase you're in a way, because you recognize just how like transient they are.
Yeah.
It's challenging when your business is so tied to like your passion and like you're actually loving what you're doing. It can be hard to like disassociate almost, to be like, that's a separate person who has to be like on social media or be the face of the company. And then there's also just like, it's like a little like crab and then the little soft crab on the inside, the little shell. Yeah.
And it's just like, I think for me, the thing that's been so important is to have someone to literally call and cry to when I'm like, when things are going well, and to remind me like, remember, you've been here before, you'll be here again. It's okay. Like, you got to just like get through it. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. It doesn't mean it's time to like quit. It's like things are going to change and shift. The other thing, actually, I would say like right now in this moment, we're at similar places in our business actually, which has been nice on this trip. Yeah, because it's like, it's almost like perfect that on this trip, we've been able to like, just the conversations we're relating to each other where we're both at right now. And so, and also like at a similar place in life where kind of looking forward to motherhood soon or soon-ish, and talking about like, what is this going to look like with kids? And
yes, hopefully we're going into a whole new era, baby.
I feel that. It's like folic acid train. Let's go. Folate, baby. Folate.
Is this communal? Like, because I feel like I've been hearing and feeling this on a lot of different, like from a lot of different people online. Like there's sort of this switch in the energy that we're wanting to show up in. And I actually feel like I've been through so many of these evolutions. And that's kind of part of this business, is you're feeling your way through and you're like, okay, I'm sensing a change in the way that we're collectively approaching this thing. Or now the energy feels to me like, okay, you've been talking about slowing down, you've been trying to slow down for so long. Now you're going to effing do it. There's no other way. You're not hustling anymore, even though you've been trying to not hustle for so long. There's still so much of an element of hustle to this work. And now it feels like there's sort of this like finality as far as really wanting to change the way that we show up. And for me personally, like falling in love with this work again and really being like, okay, like it's felt like, okay, when I have a team, I'm going to feel less stressed and I'm going to feel like I've made it. Or when I reach X amount of income, like there's been so many false points along the way that I thought when I got to those points and when I've made it, I would feel a certain way. And that has been completely false. Yeah. Certain follower count, certain income, certain experiences, like, being interviewed on certain podcasts, you're like, whoa, like, this is a moment. But then it really is, for me now, so much more of an internal game of like, what does it feel like on a daily basis to be in this business? And the truth is, it hasn't been feeling good for me for a long time. And now I'm trying to find the pieces that I really love, lean into that, and just, yeah, it's just like sorting out what bits I actually are not aligning anymore, and being brutally clear about boundaries.
Yes. And that's something too with ADHD, because you both touched that you had it at the start. And I read this thing once that neurotypicals, when they complete a task or reach a goal, they feel proud of themselves. But people who are neurodivergent just feel like a mild sense of relief and then move on to the next thing. So that whole idea that like when we reach this point, we'll like have made it. It's like, no, we're just like, let's what do we do now?
I even struggle to like, that's one thing that's been a journey for me is like, and it's been helpful to have Lucia in my corner to be like, we are celebrating this. You just had like the most successful launch you've ever had. Why do you feel like, because I tend to like, you know, get in my head about it and be like, oh, well, it could have been this or that, or now I'm like overwhelmed by the amount of work I have to do after this, or like, what am I going to do next? Like it is, I don't even feel relieved. I think oftentimes I just feel like a lot of pressure. And Lucia's always been like, we're popping a bottle of champagne. Like we're gonna
alcohol.
No, not at all. Also, neither of us drink that often at all. But it was like, you know, go out to dinner with your husband, like let him pay for it. But you know,
I like to celebrate those things, but I almost think it's a learnt practice.
I think that's what it is.
Totally. Yeah, it's like I'm like, okay, I've realized at some point along the way that you have to do that, otherwise you're never going to get there.
It's like when you dance every time someone joins.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I immediately think about your Instagram stories and you just being like shaking down, like no matter where you are, and I'm like, oh
we're like in Italy, and Lucia's like, we have to dance. I'm like, all right.
So if somebody doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, so whenever, and I actually got this idea from Claire Baker. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
she did a dance. I think maybe even welcoming us into the
B-school. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was just like, since then I was like, that is such a vibe in a launch to just do a little dance and then say like you're welcoming these people in. So now anytime I'm launching, I always do that, and I just feel like it's almost like an energetic practice for me now. Like that sounds quite like, what does that even mean? But like, you know, in a launch where, you know, it's, oof, man, the energy of a launch is something, as we all know. So and when you're like, it's like, you just got to keep that, keep those vibes going till the end, baby. You're like, you know, like really keep that fire stoked inside of you so that you're not just like collapsing and feeling terrible, because there's potential to just feel like horrible in a launch if it's not going the way you hope to. So I feel like dancing, even if you've got less people than you think you want it or whatever, it's just like it moves it through your body. And I swear, well, I don't know, like from just a purely strategical masculine side, marketing, it also works from a strategy point of view, because whoever's watching you, they're like they can, we feel resonance with energy, you know. And, oh, you're authentic, you are walking the talk, I can feel you, and like I can trust you. You'll have my money.
You actually like want me there, you know. It's like you're like, because what you're telling people there is like, I'm happy that you're here, I'm happy that you're joining my program, I care about you, I'm going to celebrate you, and it feels so good to be celebrated. So
this is the energy that's lighting up the program. This is that you are the heart of your business. It's like, it's not just all words on a sales page. It's like, this is the energy that, you know, we get to co-create together.
And it just makes it feel more intimate and special. Like sometimes on your stories, sometimes there's 2 people, sometimes there's 10, but it's just, it makes people feel included. I think it makes it just feel like that program or that circle is going to be like so nourishing versus, I don't know, it's so hard in the online sphere to have that like connection over a screen. And sometimes when you're signing up for things, you're like, do you even know me? Like, do you notice that I've signed up or invested in you? And so when you do that, it's just like, it's a celebration for you, and like energetically, like physically, I'm sure it makes you feel like so much better in a launch season. But for the buyer as well, it's just like, it's exciting to be like, oh, Lucia knows me.
She cares. 100%. That's how I hope they feel. I hope like, yes, it's for me, but I definitely am also doing it for them to just have that feeling of like, oh, yay. Because like, it's scary to invest your money and you want to feel like you want that companionship or that sharing that moment of like, oh my God, I just took the leap. And then like have that immediate feeling of like, it's almost a relief to have some reflection or feedback from that decision.
You're convinced I might do it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, should I be
Everyone
dancing?
do it. This is a movement.
Uh,
The Claire Baker cult.
Claire Baker wiggle.
Yes.
I mean, it's an interesting transition into like talking about your social media because even, I mean, we're talking about how you're dancing and celebrating people entering your program. And just to like confirm, like you have tens of thousands of followers. So just the fact that you're like, I checked both of your Instagrams and I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. And so it's just like, it makes it feel like so special that like, even though you are this massive figure, both of you in the nutrition world, that you're still making it feel accessible and that like if someone comments you're still going to respond. So I'm wondering,
it's a real person. Yeah,
like when you started out as listening partners, was social media always like at the forefront of like holding each other accountable, or was that something you were already doing?
I was definitely already doing it. I'd probably already had my account for like a year at that point. Right when we became listening partners was when Reels rolled out. Because I remember I lived in an apartment for like literally 2 months, and I remember that her first listening partner call was there. Also, like when cycle coach school was happening, I was there, and I remember that the first reel I filmed was in that apartment, and it all happened like in the 2-month period that I was living in that apartment. And that, I mean, I think for me, some of my following was like sometimes with social media, and we've talked about this so many times, you catch a wave and you just happen to catch a wave. And it's like, some of it is of course strategy. It's who you are. It's your content. It's, what you bring to the table, your message, your look. It's all the things that social media are. But also I think I kind of caught a wave with Reels too. And it was Reels have always been wild to me. I think I was a theater kid. So for me, like the Reels, when Reels like started being a thing, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing here. I'm performing. Like you're creating a little skit.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I'm in the spotlight.
Yeah. Like especially back then, when I feel like now it's less so, but back then, like it was like, it was a script and a skit that you created,
It was a lot more like doing the voiceover, miming, making it was a little bit different, I feel.
Or even like it was before, like there were the most of the trending sounds was like music, not original. A lot of them were not original audios in the beginning. And so, I even like some of the things that went viral for me were like literally a skit that I had created. There was no other music.
One of your first ones was like the one, me on my way to pick an argument with my husband when you're premenstrual or something. And then
I was like hopping away to music.
I remember that hop once.
It was you know what? Yeah, it was
it's iconic.
It was dun 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 dun, the Black Eyed Peas.
There you go.
Yes.
Where's the love? Where's the love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you went through a really hard time at that point. And I remember like in our coaching, I was just kind of like from the outside, you can see it's like just blur all of that out. Like you're killing it at Reels. I remember being like, just focus on Reels.
Yeah.
And you kept going, and then like you were kind of like, oh, and then you got caught another wave, and then you sort of
exactly.
There was that initial phase where you were just kind of like, I don't know, just a hard time that you went through.
Well, it broke so I think that I'm like, for whatever reason, like other people have been like, even we've had conversations where it's like, what do I do? How do I do what you're doing to like go viral on Reels? I'm like, I don't really know. Like I can help you with your menstrual health and nutrition. Reels, I'm like, it just like makes sense to me. I don't know. It comes naturally to me, which sounds braggy, but it's just true. It's hard for me to like explain it even.
I think you also, I know what you mean. Like you've just got the knack of it,
yeah.
But you also are really good at putting a complex topic into a really catchy, small, easy to digest little bite.
And one thing we talked about here, it was kind of an aha moment for me, is that I spend a lot of time doing that. I will think for like literally multiple hours of like, how do I take this? Even in the Reels, in the content, we've made a tiny bit of content while we're here. we're also fucking relaxing, let's be real. But you know, I'm like, oh, well, let me think for like half an hour about how to word that one sentence, you know? So I do spend a lot
I
of time.
do not do
But
that.
it's also like, I probably spend a little too much time, and it takes me a little too long to do those things. Because
Yeah.
sometimes then I'm like, I spend a lot of time doing that and not enough time like working in my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, and I think one of the things that has been a push and pull for us is like, there have been times where like I will have something go viral when you're feeling like low about Instagram. And then the opposite has happened too, where like when something's going viral for her and you're like getting a lot of new followers, I'm like losing followers every time I post.
Let's start from the beginning, because like with literally followers, because I feel like this is interesting, and it's something where if we're in this space, like you're trying to grow online, it's
and I want other people
really
to know
helpful
this.
to know the behind the scenes of how it kind of came out. So at the beginning, like I remember like I was working for quite a long time. I had like, I think around 2,000 followers when we started being listening partners.
And I had like,
and you had less. And then you took off with Reels, and it like quickly maybe got up to like 5,000 over like a course of a few months.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm going, oh my God, shit, like, what
And
am I doing?
But I'm like, Lucia, make reels.
Make reels. And then you tell the story of how you fully went viral and blew up.
So I'll tell the 2-part story, which is, that was true. I grew my following like relatively quickly. On my 30th birthday, I was like, in my personal life, just like going through my Saturn return, like and also with COVID, like everything felt hard. And I was just really burnt out already, which was crazy. I'm like, how am I already burnt out like 2 years into it? Not even a year and a half into this. And my 30th birthday, my birthday's in March. I was like, okay, I think I'm going to take a step back, because like my brain feels broken from like the social media thing, especially just the chase. And then I said, you know what, if I get 1,000 followers by my 30th birthday, like I'll keep going, you know? And I'm 33 now, 33 and a quarter, I guess, a little more than that. And so that was 3 years ago. And I was like, okay, or 3.5, almost.
And you now have how many followers? 80,000 or something?
83.
Yeah.
And
which is
so anyways, okay. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to keep going. I also took a little vacation and like took a little time off, and was like, so this is what has happened every time. I was like, because we've all walked to the edges of our business multiple times. And I want anyone listening to this to know that like part of owning your own business is walking to the edge of like, am I going to keep doing this, or am I going to do something else? Because
you choose it again and again.
It's like marriage. I mean, not that I'm walking to the edge of my marriage all the time, but it's similar in that it's like, it's a choice that you make every day to be committed. I mean, I think all 3 of us are married. You're basically married. I guess you're not technically married, but you're like, live with your partner, own together,
10-year relationship.
10-year relationship. That it's like, there is an aspect of it that it's just that you choose it every day. And it's the same thing. So I just want to say that of like, I've probably walked to the edge like a handful of times, and every single time I've had a reel go viral and I walked to the edge. So when I think about the energetics,
universe is like,
literally, it's like, don't give up. Like you're on the right path. I'm like, okay, it's been so hard. And they're like, no, just keep going. So 30th birthday, I was walking to the edge, and then got over 1,000 followers and was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And was in cycle coach school at that time too. And like Lucia was one of the people who was like, just keep going, you can do it. And then again, like I probably within, I don't remember when it was, I think it was June of the following year or something, but I had something go viral that like got me over 10,000, and that was like mind blowing. And then I had one reel go mega viral.
How many views did it have? Multiple millions?
It had 3 million views, and I got 50,000 followers from one reel. Because the thing is, like, one thing that they talk about a lot on Instagram is like, if you do like a lot of the trending audios, and one thing I really make sure to do, and like my best advice, make sure all of your content is like, make sure you know what your offering is, who you are, who you're talking to, and never stray from that, because you don't want something to go viral that isn't like what, is like just something silly that's not related to menstrual health and nutrition for me.
Because the reason why you don't want that is if you have heaps of random people following you that do not care about your business, it's going to impact your engagement rate, because when you post out periods, they're like, what the hell? I don't care about that. Scroll on. Yeah. And it's just the ratio. You want the people in your audience to actually be interested in what you're doing.
Exactly. And it impacts sales. It impacts everything. And it feels shitty to like post to an audience who doesn't care about what you're saying. Like that is one way to burn out really quickly on
Well, is
Instagram.
that something that you had to learn through like trial and error? Like, did you have something go viral and then you're like, wait, like a lot of new
I think I saw it happen to other people and I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay. So like
Mhm.
make sure that I'm always on my business Instagram. If I want to post about other stuff, just have a different account. You know what I mean? But like always make sure that my content is on brand and like related because you never know when something's going to go viral. You don't. But it was another video of me hopping away. I don't remember what sound it was, but it was me hopping away saying like on my way to like teach women about their bodies knowing that it's or about their menstrual cycles knowing that it's going to cause the downfall of society as we know it. And yeah,
Yes.
I got but so it's funny because and I think you might be able to relate to this too. We like long for that moment. We long for that to happen to us to go viral to like get the onslaught, but it broke my brain. It absolutely like destroyed my dopamine is what I think happened because I think that was 2 years ago. It was in June. So I think it was 2 years ago. And it completely shifted the way I show up online. It made it really hard to produce content that got like under 10,000 views or like, you know, because then I'm like, oh, if I'm not going viral, then I'm not doing it right. You know, so then you do get attached.
Expectation is kind of gets ruined.
Yeah.
And then I remember you also saying to me that you then feel like you have to be at a level that's beyond where you're at
because it has
the rest
to
of your
reflect.
business. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, my email list is only this, or like, you know, then you're then feeling like you're more vulnerable to imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of
That's
yeah.
highlight asterisk.
The
You're
imposter
vulnerable to
syndrome.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, because I imagine once you've gone viral, then does it make creating content harder? Because
creating content to go viral again. And it's
Exactly.
like you don't
Yeah.
even realize that you're doing it. But it is like a natural, I think it's just what happens. Like the other thing is that because I was struggling more on the business side of things and Lucia was like, keep going. I did keep going. But I had focused a lot of energy on content on Instagram because that's what I'm naturally easily good at. And I wasn't as much focused on like the foundation of the business side of things. So when I went viral, I didn't have a freebie. I didn't have like a course that I could offer because mostly I was working one-on-one. So there was nothing to like nurture those new people. And that for me, I don't know that that necessarily was the worst thing, but I got it in my head that it was like, oh, well, this was like, it's great that I went to viral, but like if I had actually had even just like a low ticket offering that people could have like snatched up and gotten to know me and my work a little bit better, then, you know, so I got, and I also like, look, I've got childhood trauma. Like I struggle with like confidence for sure and had a very fucking stressful childhood, so have a tendency to be a little dysregulated. And it when I say it broke my brain, I think as someone who already like needs to spend a lot of time regulating my nervous system, this just like rocked the boat in a major way. And it was like so good and then so hard too behind the scenes. And then to have all these people being like, holy shit, Mariah,
How are you doing it?
How are you doing it? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And like, still, it's like, oh my God, like then me, but you know, I was struggling to be like, yay. I was more like, fuck. Like, I was so.
Because the feeling it on a physical level, like it's excitement, but your body still registers it as stress.
Yeah.
Like your body doesn't realize it's a good stress.
So basically I've stayed at that. I got up to 80 and I've kind of stayed there for the last 2 years. I've had ups and downs. There have been seasons where I've been losing followers for 6 months to even more than that. We were talking about that this morning. Recently, it's been going up again. I was like at 90 at one point and then, you know, am now back down at 83. I don't think it's because of anything I'm doing. It's just that people, when you have like a viral video, people find you and then they're like, oh, wait, I'm not actually into it, which is like, like I do that too, you know?
You want them to leave.
Yes, exactly. You want the people who aren't interested in you to leave. And so yeah, I've kind of been there since, and it's been good because I feel like I have had to recalibrate since then to be like posting things that I, you know, to the people who I'm speaking to, not just trying to gain followers.
And tune it out a little and be like, what do I want? What's my message? Who are my people? What am I posting? Like you had to find yourself amongst that kind of really you know, intense experience.
Yeah, it was so intense.
And then
I've had really successful launches since then too. And then, you know, recently have found myself also focusing more on one-on-one work again and kind of like as my nervous systems, again, as someone who just like, I had really bad panic attacks and anxiety as a child. And so I don't struggle with it like the way that I used to. I really attribute that to nutrition and also like taking care of my menstrual health. Cause like PMS, PMDD, like it was so hard. And I attribute that to this work 100%. And my husband and, you know, other things, but like, so not 100%, but like so much of it has been just taking better care of myself, knowing how to take better care of myself. But as someone who like already is a little tends to like have a thin margin between like stress and not stress, if you know what I mean, that just learning how to like, put myself first and not also like when you go viral or like that. And cause you need to tell your story too. It's like, it just, you get addicted to Instagram. It's that feeling of like every time you look at it. And
it's gambling, basically.
Yeah, you're like, oh, now I want, and if you look, it's like, and because I focused on reels a lot and I had multiple reels go viral, not as crazy as that one, but multiple in the millions. That one for some reason got me way more followers than other ones, but I've had like 10 reels, or I don't know, maybe that's an exaggeration, but between 5 and 10 get over 1 million views. And so it makes you addicted to Instagram. It's like every time you look at it, do I have more followers? Do I have more likes? How many views do I have? How many? And I think that for a long time too, I was like, oh, this is a me problem. And then I'm like, this is not a me problem. This is just how it's designed, how this app is designed, which I'm like constantly working against. But
mine was a lot more slow and steady. And so it's been a good thing in our friendship for like, you know, I've just kind of had to block this out a little bit and sort of separate it while this is all going on from where I am. Just like, just stay in your lane.
Don't even look.
Going. Don't like, I'm celebrating you, but also like not comparing myself.
Because that would be challenging though, because you are in the same industry, like obviously opposite sides of the world, and you do
like,
a little differently,
what am I doing differently? But then I think where I'm at now is actually I realized that I think we place I think we overly put too much focus on followers
100%.
rather than building. So in a way, it was actually an advantage, I think, in some ways, because I was focusing on getting my freebie. I was focusing on building all the background, launching my course. I've done Moon Menu for however many years now, like my signature course, and I have a few, like I was spreading the energy a little bit more evenly between Instagram and the other stuff.
And also like even in your business, I was like one-on-one was like everything's funneling into there, but that's a high energy situation.
Yeah.
Whereas you had these other like things that didn't require as much energy from you and also made you
like launching.
No, I know, but it's like a short burst of energy, you know, where I also think just the one thing I want to say too is that, because I think this is really important to people to hear, and then you should talk. But she like, yes, I was having success in terms of like vanity metrics. Like but you were making more money than me.
Yeah, boy.
You know, so I think that's really important for people to hear, that it's like, you know, I'm happy with the success I've had in my business, like I said, but like, you know, during that time, and you were making more money than I was at that time, even though my following was growing and growing.
Which I think is so nice for people to hear and refreshing, because it's like, you know, when you're building this business, you don't know how people's businesses are really going, and amongst your peers and amongst people who maybe you compare yourself to, like there's really something to be said for like blurring all of that out and staying in your lane and just like keeping on going, because ultimately, and just really keeping that clear focus on like, how do I want my days to feel? How do I want it to feel to work in my business, rather than, okay, I'm going to be happy when I get this 1,000 followers, when I get 10,000 followers or whatever, because it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And then, so my experience, while you had already blown up, it took me years and years and years to get to 10,000 followers. I finally broke 10,000 and I was so happy.
And we celebrated.
It was the best feeling. We celebrated. It's like, oh my God, babe, you made 10K. And
I was like refreshing, like waiting for it to happen.
You're like, you need one more.
I really was, yeah.
And that's also such a beautiful thing. Like, I feel like we do really well is like, we've been able to really hold the celebration for the other person and I feel like we do the non-comparison thing well, even though it is a challenge.
Also,
Obviously.
it's because we talk about it. We will literally say, I'll like cry to her. And she'll be like, we hold space for each other. And then I'm like, okay, but also like the fact that you're blowing up right now, or your like launch was this and mine was
That's
this.
really hard for me
we
to
can
see.
cry to each other about literally about that. And we have.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I was like, I don't want to like take away from your thing, but this is all like, I'm so happy for you. And also like, I feel
It's really hard.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like the healthy feminine way of like
Yeah.
doing business, right? Where you don't have to be in competition with each other because I mean, it's so easy, especially coming out of cycle coach school. You're in a bit of an echo chamber because everyone wants to follow each other and it's very exciting. I've like coached so many like of these like alumni coming out and it's like that constant reminder of like you're in an echo chamber. So
Yeah.
everyone you know is talking about it, but if you go onto the streets and talk about what you're teaching, it's not reality yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just
going. And then we should talk about all the courses we've done together since.
All right. So where was I up to? So yeah, hit 10K, and then that reel just kept going and going and going and going. So I got 30. That's the only reel I've ever had go mega viral, and I think it was.
And it was also literally you. Like it was about literally exactly what you do is about.
If you want to stalk my Instagram, it's the one where I'm cleaning the fridge of all things. It's like a fast like video of me cleaning the fridge with an audio being like something like there's however many months of the year, keep going, girl. Like it's like a motivational one.
But it's literally about batch cooking.
And then text on screens like POV, you learn to batch cook for your cycle. Your like fridge is amazing. Your life is amazing.
Your freezer's stocked. Your fridge is clean.
Yeah.
it's very, very on brand for you, Lucia.
Oh my God, it was perfect.
Very
Look
much
at my fridge.
Yeah. So anyway, so I got an extra literally 30,000 people. So I just made it to 10 and then 30,000 people from that.
So it's
that
similar that it was like one reel that
one
like
reel
30,000 people or
and that's why I say it's like gambling. But
it is because you don't know which one.
So
Like that.
so the feeling of it basically was like you'd wake up and it was like a new 1,000 every single day, and it was so crazy. Like it was such a high. That I definitely had a come down when it stopped. And then my follower count hasn't changed for the last 6 months. It's been going down. So I got up to like 40K and then it's been going down to like 36 where I'm at now. So interesting to just hold yourself in the aftermath. So if you do catch a wave like that, just know that that's coming.
Yeah.
That's normal.
You're probably going to lose followers for a while afterwards.
You're going to lose a lot of followers.
A lot of time. Or it's going to be just stagnant as the people are coming and going.
Just keep going. But I think for me, I wish I could go back and tell myself, like, don't fall, like the literal, it didn't, okay, I was going to say it didn't make any difference for me financially, but it did because I did decide, okay, I was launching a course at the time. I was literally creating Lifeblood, one of my courses, running it live. This started to happen. I was like, I need to do a free workshop. So I did a free workshop. I had the most people ever register for a workshop.
2,000 people or something.
Like 2,000 people register for the workshop. And there was about, there was 200 people live, which is the most I've ever had.
Which is also normal, by the way, that you have like 2,000 people show up and only 200 or register and only 200.
And there was about 1,000 who watched the replay as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then I created a bundle of stuff that I'd already have, which is called Cycle Craft. And I sold that for a ridiculously, like, I was just like, this is just a celebratory price. And I think the natural energy of it just accumulated, and I had my biggest income month in business
ever
to date.
Yeah.
So it definitely can be reflected in income, but then since that month, it hasn't, and it's had the opposite effect. So I've had less followers, less income for the last 6 months. It's been on a bit of a down.
I do think some of that's reflective in just like the larger trends of what's going on right now in the world and on social media.
Exactly.
Just to,
so you don't know. Is it you? Is it the world? Is it like people aren't spending like that anymore? And it's constantly feeling that out, thinking about it, talking to other people, and like adjusting kind of where you're at, and whether it's a match for like what your truth is as well. So anyway, that's been my experience with it.
Well, I mean, that's even
about Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, that's good advice too, of just you go viral, and instead of feeling like, oh gosh, I need to create something new, I have to be the best person I've ever been, you're like, I'm going to take all the things I've already created and put them together and be like, here's a little bundle, like, good luck. And just like, and
Yeah.
what a great reminder of, if
Yeah.
you do catch a wave, you don't need to panic and change your whole like MO. You can just
Take things you've already created.
recreate what you
Yeah.
already have. If you were to do it all again, so like a cycle coach, students coming out of school, like what would be your piece of advice to them starting in social media now with all the knowledge you know about like boundaries and just self-regulation and all those pieces?
I would say take it so lightly, just have a play, start putting stuff out there. Don't worry about being perfect. Like if I look at my first videos, like I'm like,
Yeah.
kill me now. Like so embarrassing. Just get out there and don't worry about it being perfect. And the more like it's a volume game. The more you make, the better you get.
Well, yeah. Right.
I feel like at the beginning, like because think about
the
the very beginning, you're not used to posting, you don't
have
even
a community,
and you really just need to hone your skills somehow and start getting better at speaking on camera.
Totally.
Start getting better at even editing reels, like all of that kind of stuff. Just play and see what you actually like to create and what feels good for you. And like I guess always keeping that like arrow, like your direction trained on like what do you want to spend your time doing, you know? I think one very practical advice thing as well is like just getting B-roll. So just like get a cheap like tripod for your phone, or have a little one that just packs up real small. You can put it in your handbag, and then you, whenever you're like in nature or like cooking. Or doing anything that's relevant, you can easily just capture a lot of that. And then when you want to go and create content, you can just put some text on top of that, or do a voiceover and like edit a few pieces together. I use CapCut.
I use InShot.
Yeah.
Or also the Instagram app itself has come a long way since 2020 when Reels rolled out. The actual just in-app editing is like actually pretty good right now.
And batching with your cycle is another thing as well.
Yeah.
So
or ebbing, like for me, I'm not like, oh, I post 3 times a week. I just tend to post a little like less frequently when I'm premenstrual and bleeding.
Yeah. I mean, I have to batch my content because otherwise I feel like you end up, the worst situation for me, and it's obviously very individual. So maybe you might not relate or somebody else might not relate. But for me, I do not want to spend every single day, half of my day bloody making a piece of content. Like that's a nightmare. And choose a frequency to start with, and obviously start on the easier end. Like just start, if you're going from 0, try once a week. Then once you're easily doing that, so that's like, okay, I need to make 4 pieces a month. So just spend one day making those 4 pieces, write those things, make the blah, 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 and then you're ready to go.
So I do batch content, but I do it weekly. Mondays are my social media day. I spend Mondays on my content. And I film stuff throughout the week, and I might gather like ideas, but I do everything on one day, and it's like all I do that day. Or I'll do that and like work on something else later in the day. But for me, it works to do it weekly and have it. Yeah. I just have one day that's like the day that I work on it.
So you might want to do it that way. And then you can also, one thing that's helpful for me is batching certain tasks. So one day I will just spend planning the content and scripting, you know?
Yeah.
And then maybe you want to spend one day doing the type of videos where you're talking to camera. So you might just batch a few of those in a row. And then one day you might want to spend just like editing and like just doing all the final pieces. So it's all uploaded into whatever like software you use to schedule your content, you know, so you can break it up. You don't have to.
You can schedule it on Instagram now too, which is what I do.
Or you can do that.
Yeah. I think also my advice would be like, you're gonna feel like an imposter, and that's probably never gonna go away. Like we are 5 years in.
And
to our business, and I still struggle with that. And it's not about, you're never not going to feel that. It's not about getting rid of that feeling. It's about knowing how to regulate yourself when you do feel that way, because you're going to feel that way. You're going to get hate no matter what you talk about. If you literally talk about how you like spaghetti, someone's going to tell you that they prefer rigatoni. Like it's just going to happen. It's going to be brutal at times. You're going to be okay. Like it's also about having the tools, like Lucia was saying, when those comments come in, knowing what's your strategy to respond. And strategy sounds very masculine too, but it's like, how do you choose to respond to those things? Yeah. What are your tools in terms of how are you going to respond? Are you going to respond? Are you going to delete it? Are you going to, that kind of thing? that'll change too, but it's going to happen. You're going to be okay. You're going to also have seasons where you lose followers. Like that's the other reality. And it's normal. All these things are normal. It's normal to get hate, which is sad, but true. It's normal to lose followers. It's normal to feel like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And like, does anyone even care? And so just knowing like you're going to feel those things, you're going to experience those things in this work. It's just facts. And the work is to be able to learn how to deal with those things when they continue to come up. It's not, the goal is never that those things aren't going to happen. It's what do you do when they do, you know?
And I feel like as well, like not getting overly focused on Instagram.
Yeah.
is
That's
the
yeah,
best.
have a freebie. I mean, honestly, that's what I would do differently is like the first thing I would do before even ever like posting on Instagram, or if I have a small following,
Start
say
a
I'm
mailing
shifting
list.
my content, get a freebie, attach it to your mailing list. Like
Yeah.
number one, before you don't need a whole suite of offerings when you first stand out. Just pick something that is the thing is relevant to what you're teaching, create a free resource about it in Canva, make it cute, attach it to a mailing list, and you know, and then just, you know, put yourself out there. It's a performance. Instagram, social media is a performance. And so you're literally showing up to perform every single day.
And think about what medium you really enjoy. Like, are you a writer? Do you really enjoy creating audio? Do you really feel like you come across well on camera? Or do you really like doing little skits and kind of like being silly? Like, lean into what you're good at and what you enjoy and what you could spend, you know, all of your freaking time doing, because that's what you're going to end up doing.
And spend more time creating content than you do scrolling on the app. And if you find yourself feeling really run down by like comparison, just like mute the people who are hitting that soft spot or that wound for you for a little while.
I have an app as well that I really love called Opal, which allows you to be locked out of the app. So if you kind of, especially, I was going to say, I don't know if it's especially at the beginning, but maybe it's just the whole time in terms of social media. But the thing with like being on social media for work is you're not able to, say, for example, delete the app anymore, because then you'll delete all of your drafts. So that's one thing I used to do, is just delete it on the weekends and re-download it. So I think having something acknowledging that, you know, this is a however many billion-dollar industry, and that it's not on you if you're not physically, or like you're not able to build habits that keep you're
not stronger than
tech hygiene clean
tech dollars.
Like it's really a hard place to find a balance with, and having like something that is concrete and can lock you out, I feel like is a really good like strategy for your mental health and emotional health and cycle health.
I have an app called Focus Lock, which is the same. You set a timer and it literally locks you out of the app. You cannot open it. You can't open it until the timer's done.
I'm gonna have to check those out, because right now I just have like
There's one called Freedom as well, which is nice because it can cross between devices. So it like will block it on all your devices, like your iPad, your computer, your phone. Because obviously we've all been there where we like delete the Instagram app and then 2 hours later we're on our freaking browser on our computer looking at it.
Yeah, I think Opal can do that as well. On your computer.
So yeah, we've known each other for 4.5 years. We live on literal opposite sides of the planet. We've never been in person. We've been together. This is day 5.
In Italy.
In Italy. It's the logical central, you know, midpoint. But it's been so nice to talk in person and like talk about all these things. Like we've been speaking about, it's like the perfect time to do this too, because it's just been on the top, you know, we've been talking about it because it is. And you know what, the other advice I would give, and maybe this is a good point. Find a friend to do it with. Like our relationship, we've both said, like, we don't think we would have kept going if we didn't have each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
you need that. And even if it's a group of friends, even if you like make your own little mastermind and like you all catch up once a month, like you need people who are in this space.
Yeah. Because
we are at the same level as you as well.
Yeah.
In like you're going through similar challenges, I think is really useful.
Yeah. Because we did B school together. We did cycle coach school together. We did Nicole Jardim's hormone health, women's hormone health certification program together. We did femme train, the fertility awareness, femme
Mhm.
training together. Is that all of it?
That's everything.
So, and like the Nicole's course was a year, 6 months, 6 months. The femme training was 6 months. Like, and yeah, find someone to do it with, because it is a really lonely journey, you know, even for people who have full social lives in person. This is not like, it's the same thing you were talking about, Lauren, of like the amount of times where I forget that I am in this bubble
Mhm.
of like women's health, holistic women's health, and, you know, cycle coaching, nutrition, like all of that. We're in this little bubble, and that like also just the bubble of like running businesses on Instagram. Like it's becoming more normal, but even still, it's not the norm. And it's hard to meet people doing, because it's like that, you know, it's unique enough to, I think, to be running an online business. Maybe not anymore, but it still feels like it is. And then also it's unique to do in the field that we're doing it. So the crossover of finding other women who are doing the same thing we are is like, it's hard to find people in person, I
That's
think.
why cycle coach is so beautiful.
Yeah.
All the relationships we built with all of the like the women in the cohort that we went through, like yourself.
Yeah. And we all still follow each other and cheer each other on.
Yeah. It's really nice.
But yeah, like finding somebody to cry with, to
Mhm.
celebrate with, to bounce off of, so you know, like, is this just me? Because sometimes it is just you. Like that's the other thing. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes it's just the nature of it, and being able to know like what is like something that I need to work through, like personal development wise, and what is something that is just like a normal part of this work.
Mhm.
Or like what is something that I need to work on in my business that I'm like not doing quite right, or is this just something that happens to everybody, you know, with losing followers? Like, is it me? Is it normal? Is it
And are we in, like, as the world has also been through different phases, like in 2021, like was also 2020 was also like a really big boom time online.
yeah, because everybody
And-
spends so much time online.
Yeah, so running courses throughout this whole last 2 years, like sorry, for 4 years.
What year is it?
Period brain. Yeah.
Vacation.
You know, you definitely feel the different trends and the different you feel how to stay connected. I think that's why it's so important to really tune in and go with what feels authentic, because oftentimes when you go with that, it's what also is feeling authentic for other people, because ultimately we are all connected.
Yeah.
And there is definitely there's stuff that's
Hive
in the
mind.
collective
Yes.
already. So like when I speak it, then you, or or the other way around, we both like
Yeah.
resonate.
Yeah, like right now, I think, you know, a lot of people are feeling fatigued by the like over abundance of information, and also just like restrictive ways of approaching nutrition. Especially, it's like, oh, I used to like never eat out because I was worried about seed oils. And that it's like, no, now I'm like, you know, there's just a lot of content like that. That's like, now I'm like, you know, 80-20 or whatever, you know, and I've been feeling that for a while too. And it was like, oh yeah, the collective is feeling that. I'm starting to see like a lot of people talk about this. And it is, we were talking about this yesterday, of like, if you're feeling something, the likelihood that it is like that the collective is feeling it. It's a collective feeling is pretty good. Yeah.
Brilliant. I have some rapid fire questions.
Fun.
Initially, we had chatted, Claire and I, about doing 3, and then I couldn't cut it down from 5. So we're doing 5.
Great.
So I'm going to say the question and then just first thing that comes to mind. So number 1, what's one book you could read over and over again?
I have it already.
Why is it Harry Potter?
Obviously, that's the only brand.
Is it meant to be period
No,
related?
No, it doesn't have to be period related.
That's so, no, I can think of something better, surely.
No, that's
No,
so
that's cute.
Come
You're
on,
good.
follow your heart.
Lock it in, boy.
I do actually agree with that. And it's actually the only thing I've ever reread like all the time. But The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Yeah. It's probably my book outside of the Harry Potter series.
I'm like, surely I have a better answer, but I've got like one brain cell right now.
It's like only 3 is like Harry Potter. Yeah.
I've got nothing.
Right. If you could...
okay, no.
I love it.
Okay, I've got 2 answers. Women Who Run with the Wolves is going to be my second answer, in case, depends where you are in your cycle, if you need a little bit more.
This reminded me of that scene in Friends when Rachel's like, what's her favorite movie? But what's her actual favorite movie? It's like Women with Wolves, but it's actually Harry Potter.
You're like, yeah,
Depends what mood you're in.
Oh.
depends what you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay, question 2. If you could live in any natural environment, what would you choose?
The beach.
House.
You kind of do live by the beach.
Live like, yeah, just in the wilderness.
You mean like mountains versus
what I mean.
beach?
Yes, mountain, forest, ocean, beach.
Yeah, I would probably like it if, because I've got access to the beach with waterhole, but I would just like it if it was a little bit warmer. Ideally, Tasmania, it's got a lot of things, but it don't got warm.
I live in Pennsylvania, which stands for Penn's Woods, because it is a very wooded area, and I do love it.
Yeah.
And I've lived in a bunch of different places, but I think I would choose the beach at this point in my life.
Yeah,
The answer would have been different a couple years ago.
Ocean
Yeah.
for me too.
We're evolving. Question 3. What do you wish you had been given at menarche when you started to bleed?
Oh, just like everything I know now.
Yeah.
Bible information.
No, on a very, let's just say Claire Baker's book. You
Yeah.
know, like-
Oh, that's such a good answer. I second that, because that book also is so, I think it really like transverse. I don't know that's the right word, but you know what I mean? Like it's good for a
Yes,
lot of
it
ages. Like I feel like
Transcends.
it's good for now, but it would have been transcends. That's the one. I'm like, transverse.
that
Like,
what?
what am I
Yeah.
even talking about? It does. It transcends like age and like the female experience. I think it's great for I've actually
anyone wanting to learn about this way,
Yeah.
or like
I've given it to teenagers in my family who were like 12, 13.
Mm.
It may have gone over their head a little bit, but there's pictures.
they'll come back to it. They'll come
Yeah,
back to it.
exactly.
You could just have it forever. It's like one of those like lifetime references that you can
Yeah,
get
exactly.
somewhere on my bookshelf. If you could instantly learn any skill, what would it be?
Right now I'm just like want to really speak Italian fluently.
Oh, that would helpful.
I'm like
Helpful.
I did exchange here for 10 months when I was 15, so like I've got a bit of Italian and I've been focusing on it and like really
I'm
trying
impressed
to
by your Italian.
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, grazie. But yeah, that right now I'm like, oh, just like really would love to be able to have really easy, rich, deep conversations in a second language.
Oh,
It's a good one.
I
It's a hard
don't
question.
even know.
Boom. What is it?
Do you know what came to mind? What came to mind was like hunting.
Hunting. Katniss.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I would love to be able to like have the skill to gather my own food. I love to forage,
Mm.
and I am living back like in my home area where I'm very familiar with like the landscape.
Mm.
And so foraging has been nice. After a couple years of living elsewhere and like being a little unfamiliar with what is edible. But I think I'd love to be able to, and especially I like fish and hunt, to be able to like hunt. I think we saw wild pigs yesterday, which is probably why this is on my mind, and we heard a gunshot, so we were like, oh,
Like, I think they would just, yeah.
I think they may have just, and I said like we should come back for the barbecue. So I think that's why it's on top. I know that like I know
the people here.
I know. People were like,
It's like, damn.
we were like, ooh, that's probably
Be right back for the barbecue.
On the
yeah.
beach.
So hunting, because just to be able to like the self-sufficiency around gathering wild food has always been something I'm interested in, and we have that experience.
This
Yeah.
is a bonus question that just popped into my brain, but like, what's the most underrated condiment to you guys? Because I feel like you're both
Condiment?
foodies. Yeah, condiment. I feel like you're both foodies and would just have good sauces all the time.
Underrated though.
I'm a condiment
Underrated.
fan.
Oh, I am a freak for tomato sauce, to be honest.
Is that ketchup?
It's so basic,
Is that
but I
ketchup?
did not care.
It is ketchup.
What we
Yeah.
call
Yes,
ketchup?
that is
Okay,
ketchup.
so that's funny you say that,
It's
because
underrated because everyone judges it. It's like, no.
No,
it's
not to
actually,
be.
It's actually good.
Not to be in my not to be like talking internet speak, but I've been in my ketchup era, so it's so funny you say that. I hated ketchup as a kid, and I'm not kidding. Like a year ago, I started like eating ketchup with my eggs. I started eating like ketchup on a hot dog. I'm really into baseball, and my family goes to baseball games a lot, and I'm like, all I want is a hot dog with ketchup and mustard. But I used to like hate it.
Mustard
now-
is a good underrated one too.
I don't think mustard's underrated though. But
I feel like it's so normal that people don't really like. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I love mustard.
No, I like our ketchup was literally that's what came into my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, I don't know if it's overrated, but I'm personally
I just feel like it's underrated because it's basic,
and yeah.
but it's actually good. But then I don't know what like another one is, because I feel like, everyone loves pesto, everyone loves like, like a chimichurri or like,
Yeah.
Mayo.
I do love
I've been
the
loving
pasta.
making like a healthy Caesar. You really set us off now. Like
I regret asking a food question.
I've been really loving making my own like high protein Caesar salad dressing
Yeah.
lately. I feel like that's one people kind
Egg
of
yolks and
think is unhealthy and they're like ill. Or maybe even another one would be gravy, I feel like, is if that's even a condiment.
yeah, it's
kind
like
of
it's more of a sauce, I think.
But like everyone's like, ew, that's so unhealthy. It was like, you can actually make it really healthy and
Yeah,
it's so delicious for a reason. That's
also, I was in Norway, not last winter, but the winter before that, and their like traditional dish is like potatoes, meat, veg, and then they have I think it's called lingonberry jam. Maybe too. But it's like it's like a jam that is paired with meat, and it is so good. And I've tried it outside. I've tried it like back home. They have it in like Whole Foods, but it's like the jarred version, and it is not the same as having it fresh at a restaurant. But that like opened my world a little bit of like the fruit meat combo.
Yeah,
this
I love
is
a bit of sweet, savory
delicious.
reaction.
So that's on my list as well.
Okay, the actual final question, because that was a bonus.
How much gelato have you eaten in Italy? No, just kidding.
I'm not going to ask another food question. I've made that mistake one time, and I will.
Right.
No. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It's not necessarily advice, but I would say my life got like 1,000 times better when I stopped looking for something better than what I already had. Like my marriage got better, my relationship to my work got better, all my relationships in general, and just like overall happiness. Like I think in the world today, because of like social media, dating apps, like it feels like there's always something better out there, and that we could have that thing too, whatever it is. And I feel like it is so distracting from just being like in love with the life that you already have. So it's kind of online with that too, of like not comparing yourself and your business to where you are elsewhere, but also all of the things of like, this thought that there could be a better like job out there for me. There could be like a person that makes me happier. There could be, even just like clothing or makeup, or like there's like the most perfect lipstick color that I don't have already, even though I have a drawer full of lipsticks. I feel like in the world that we live in, that's so oversaturated with like things and opportunities and people, because there's like 8 billion people on the planet now. It's like it's so easy to just stay focused on like the upgraded version of whatever you had, or that you need this other thing. And I feel like for me, one of my journeys in the last like 4 years has been to like stop looking outside for like the perfect whatever, and start just like stoking the flames of the fire under what I already have.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
It's been like such a big part of my journey recently. Yeah.
I was going to say as well, like for me, it's not necessarily a piece of advice, but it's sort of, you reminded me of it. Something that I'm kind of working with at the moment. And like training, I think it's very easy to have, like, as humans, we naturally have a negativity bias sometimes. So like really training that, to focus on and really like savor those good moments while you're in it, and really like, I'm not talking about toxic positivity, because I feel like that's also really an issue as well, where you're like, but as for me, somebody who I'm very naturally able to give empathy and like really feel those, sit with my feelings and stuff, I think it's also really healthy for my mind to like build that as a muscle around remembering and appreciating the really beautiful things that are present in my life right now. Best of luck as well to the fresh students coming out in the world.
Yes,
It's an exciting journey. I think that's what I like, got that little hit of emotion. I'm just like so excited, and it's such a beautiful like path to be following, and like I'm so grateful to Claire for like holding that torch and being such a trailblazer, so that we can follow, so that everyone can follow. The more the merrier, and like the world just so needs this message. So really grateful to be part of this movement with
So
everyone.
grateful. Truly.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Cycle Coach Show. If you loved what you heard, then please review, share, and subscribe to help us reach more cyclical listeners like you. You can find us on Instagram at Cycle Coach School or online at cyclecoachtraining.com.